Hi guys, my name is George and this is my fiancée Laura.
And today we'll tell you our top 10 tips on how to set up an amazing online shop on Etsy that will stand out and help you become your own boss.
Now is probably the best time to start your own business and start selling online.
The majority of the sales in the last quarter were made online and Etsy sellers have doubled over the last year.
Etsy is essentially an online marketplace that supports small businesses and also a great place for people who value handmade and vintage items.
It gives you the ability to sell your unique products that you make using tools from your own home, which is a great way to achieve financial freedom and focus only on what you're good at.
In its core, Etsy is a very busy and popular platform packed with many creative drawers, painters, photographers and makers.
That is why it's sometimes difficult to get your listing seen and to make sales.
Today we'll be teaching you the top 10 quick and simple things you can do to help your listing stand out, make your store more popular and get more sales.
And we hope that you'll join us. Thank you for joining our course. To start off your journey, you will need to decide what is it that you're good at and what your winning product is. Our best advice is to focus on a niche because there's less competition than the larger market and the prices are generally higher than in more commercial areas. When it comes to your product, the secret here is that you don't reinvent the wheel. You simply need to just redesign it. The easiest way to do this is simply to model your products from bestsellers from other stores. You will need to find your direct competitors and research their store. That includes what their best-selling product is, how much are they charging for it, how different it is to the one that you'll be selling, is there something that stands out on yours, how much are they charging for shipping, and how many variations does it have. You can find best-selling stores in your niche by using Craft Count or eRank. To find their best-selling product, you will need to open their store and click on the order count. It will open a history of all of the orders that they've had since they started. Just please note that the feature is optional and some stores can disable it. If it's disabled, the best way to find out their best-selling product is to simply look out for the bestseller badge. Welcome to Module 3, Branding. Branding is very important for the idea that you're trying to realize because it represents your values and what you stand for. Also, it is the very first impression that your customer gets. It helps you to draw the right customers to your store. An easy way to professionally brand your idea is to use Canva because it has super easy templates that you can work from, and it also provides dimensions for Etsy cover photos and all other types of social media. We will be making a tutorial on this soon, so follow our channel if you want a more in-depth look into branding. Fundamentally, you need to give a lot of attention to the logo because this is how people will remember you. Canva has a very simple logo designer if you want to save some money and do it yourself. Alternatively, you can hire a professional designer on Fiverr who will help you to create your idea into a professional logo, which in turn will be more trustworthy. Once you have a logo that best represents you, you need to complete your seller profile on Etsy. It is essential that you upload a profile picture because it will be visible on your store and it looks a lot better to have your photo next to your store rather than the generic Etsy image. It also helps you to connect to the customer much better. Other things that we advise you to do is to fill in the About section with relevant information for yourself, such as where you're from, how you started making the things that you make, and maybe what you enjoy doing in your spare time. Again, this is a very simple but effective way to connect to your audience. Now that you have successfully set up your profile, it is time to start creating your store. The store title and description should be brief and not spammy. This makes it easier for people to find your store. The store description has only 20 characters and we suggest that you use all of them to provide a brief description on what you do or what you sell. The next step will be the shop banner. It is the large image which gives the overall feeling of your shopping brand. It can be a shop announcement or it can be a collage of all of your products. The designs are endless and there isn't an absolute best solution. It's whatever best suits your brand.
Module 4. Photography. In our opinion, photography is the most important aspect of the sales process. It will ultimately help you the most in converting views into transactions. When it comes to photography, preparation is key as they really matter a lot. Your product photos need to show off your product in the best light possible and in a great way. Photos need to be eye-catching and also high quality. You don't need a professional camera to capture your images. The camera on your phone is so advanced that it can compete with cameras from 5 years ago. Before you start doing the product photography, here are a few things you can do to prepare. Lighting. Product needs to be very well lit so that the product becomes clear to the customer easier and quicker. You also need to ensure lighting is consistent through all the product photos. It is important that you keep consistent because it gives a more professional feel to your brand. Clarity. This is paramount. Photos need to be very clear and very well focused in order to show the product details in greater detail. There's nothing worse than a blurry image. Background. When it comes to the background, it needs to be easy on the eye and it must focus or complement your product. It shouldn't be busy and it shouldn't take the focus away from your product. You can look into staging your product in a creative way or complementing it with a couple of minimalistic items around the product. Ideally, you need to aim for a contrast between the product and the background so that it highlights the product and makes it look appealing and amazing. The idea here is to tell a story, which is very easy to do as a picture is worth 1,000 words. Product. The product needs to be shown in a more personable and professional light. For example, if it's a garment, it's a lot better to show it on a person than to shoot it on the floor. Another thing you can do is take pictures of it from different angles. This will provide a better idea to your customers of the fit if you're selling a garment or of the size if you're selling a sticker, for example. It's very important that you combine the product with your background in a relative way. For example, if you're selling glasses, it would be much better if you capture them in the kitchen or focus on the table with people in the background, or someone holding it, for example. The main focus here will be on the first photo as it needs to stand out. You need to capture a very creative setting of your product or itself in a creative light. This will bring customers to your listing and will catch people's eyes. You want them to imagine that they own it by the very first image they see of it. Framing. Lastly, the framing of the product is equally as important. It needs to be in the center of the photo, and you also need to think about how it will look like when you crop it to fit the small Etsy listing thumbnail. Editing. When it comes to editing, we would highly suggest you hire a professional to edit your photos because they will know exactly how to translate your ideas into colors and improve any imperfections on your photos. For as little as $5, you can go on Fiverr, where you'll find many professionals who specialize in product photography editing and will be able to help you. Using an expert for editing saves you a lot of time learning how to do it yourselves and enables you to focus on your craft and make more money. Module 5. Creating the Etsy listing. When it comes to creating listings, there are simple hacks and tricks that you can use to ensure fast growth of your Etsy shop. For example, your listing description needs to answer all of the questions that the customer might have. Those include: how big is the item? What material is it made from? What is the best way to take care of it and wash it? How do US sizes translate to UK sizes or EU sizes? How much does it weigh? By providing simple answers to all those questions that the customer might ask you, you will ensure that they spend less time waiting for a reply and whether to buy your product. This in turn will make your product sell better. We suggest keeping it concise with bullet points so they scroll quicker through the description and any info they need is clear as possible. Also important is to fill in every section you can when creating your listing. Add tags, titles, sizes, and anything else relevant. The more info you have, the better Etsy will rank your listing. It also helps your customer to find enough info about your items, which means they don't have to ask you a ton of questions. Follow these simple steps to get your listing to a really good start.
Module 6 SEO. In order to rank your listing higher in the Etsy search engine, you need to have a good use of keywords. It's the biggest thing that you can do to make your shop stand out and get the listings seen more. They must be known relevant words to your field and should be close to what your customer might search for in order to find your products. In order to achieve these, you need to think like your customer and think about the descriptions that they might search for. Another thing that you can do is to type in your product in the search engine and then see what other suggestions appear below it. You can see in our Etsy store how SEO has impacted our sales. At first, we weren't sure what the tags section on the listings was and we didn't use it, but later we found out and the item was able to rank higher in search, which resulted in more sales, and it is now on the front page ranking first after the 4 paid ads. Module 7 Advertisement. When it comes to advertising, Etsy has a really clever way of doing it. There is a marketing tab in the shop manager on the left side of the home page, which enables you to set a daily budget of up to $50. The higher the value, the more visible the product is when people search for relevant keywords. You can also select which products you want to advertise. It's worth noting that the more products you advertise, the more you're splitting the advertisement money pot. For example, if you're advertising one product for $50 per day, all of the $50 will go towards that product. Visibility will be high and many people will see it, but if you advertise 2 products for $50 per day, the money will be split between the 2 products and less people will see each listing. Other advertisement opportunities are Pinterest, Instagram, and any other relevant blogs or websites. Advertisement outside of Etsy will be very involved and could potentially cost you a lot of money, but there are always ways of doing it smart with influencer marketing. We will create a separate video on this soon.
Module 8 Pricing. When it comes to pricing, it's very important that you price your product for profit and you're competitive within your field. There's no point in selling a product at $100 when there are sellers selling the same or similar items for $30. Your sales will be significantly low and it doesn't make any sense. The first thing you need to do is to find your direct competitors and research how much they are charging for similar products. Once you evaluate your competition, you need to select a profit margin and price which is competitive and is something customers will want to pay. The simplest method to do this is called cost plus. It determines the retail price by calculating your supplies, how much your product materials cost, your labor, the time it takes to make the product, expenses, any costs required to run your business, and then adding a profit margin on top. This essentially is the money that you'll be keeping for yourself on each sale. The way we suggest you calculate your retail price is by adding your supplies, labor, expenses, and multiplying them by 3 or 4. For example, if you're selling t-shirts and you're paying $3 for a t-shirt, $1 for heat transfer vinyl, $5 for 30 minutes of labor, charged at $10 per hour, and $2 for a single day of advertisement as part of your monthly $60 charge. Add everything together and you get the total cost for the shirt at $11. Multiply by 3 and you get a price of $33 for a custom t-shirt, which is effectively the price you should be charging your customer. That way you cover everything required to make the shirt and have a good profit margin in the end. You can reduce the profit margin by multiplying the cost price by 2, which will make the customers happy, but it will bring in less money. When we started, we wanted to rack up the sales counter and focus on getting more customer reviews. This in turn improves the trust in the brand and it makes us look more desirable.
Module 9 Packaging and Shipping. Etsy is notorious for its involved packaging. That's because as a small business owner, you want your customer to have an experience even before they see the product that they actually bought. There are a lot of people doing super cute packaging, adding a lot of glitz and glamour and glitter, which is nice to see, but when you do the math, you need to ensure that the package prettiness isn't costing you more money in the long run. You have to be very aware how much money you're putting into the packaging, because that's eating into your profit. For example, if you're selling a product at $5 and the packaging is nearly $2, that's coming straight out of your profit. We would still encourage you to have pretty packaging and also push your own personality into it, but be wary of how much it's costing you per shipment. We, for example, use high quality magnetic boxes which give out a very luxurious vibe and tell the customer that he is about to see and own a very premium product. Inside the box, we have a well-designed thank you card with our contact details, a packet of Skittles and our product, wrapped in a stylish black tissue paper held together by a small sticker with our logo. If, for example, the product is a gift and has a gift message, we wrap the box in gold gift wrapping and include another special gift card with the buyer's message. Essentially, your packaging should give out a beautiful yet professional vibe. Spend some time to really give it a thought, because the more special your customers feel, the better their experience will be and the more valued they will feel. Finally, and this is very important, your packaging needs to reflect your brand. If you're selling vintage items, your packaging needs to have a vintage vibe to it. If you're selling a premium product, your packaging needs to reflect that, and it should be luxurious and classy. We would highly suggest that you stay away from plain plastic bags and used shipping boxes. This shows your customers that you haven't given much thought to the whole process and will be reflected in your reviews. Don't miss an opportunity to connect with your customer and leave a lasting impression.
In the beginning, we would suggest you focus primarily on building good reviews and ensuring the sales counter keeps growing. That's because those two things build trust in your brand, and whenever a new customer decides whether to buy your product or not, the reviews and how many sales you had will be some of the deciding factors. Reviews are taken very seriously on Etsy, and a lot of people read them and base their decision on how many you've had. That's because the products are more expensive than usual, and some craftsmen and women are more skilled than others. To ensure you have more 5-star reviews, we would suggest you consider gift wrapping, which is very loved by customers due to the experience of opening a gift. We would also suggest you invest a little more into a sturdy shipping box and materials so that you can ensure the product will get to the customer untouched and undamaged. While building trust, you also need to ensure that you are reinforcing the brand image. That includes putting branding on packaging and maybe a free sticker inside. One thing we would highly suggest, and we believe this is a strong selling point, is to offer free shipping. In a study done by Coventry University, when two customers are presented with two products priced exactly the same, but one has a free shipping note under it, while the other one doesn't, the customer instantly knows that the product without the note will be more expensive than the other one. Etsy has a really nice way of telling customers when a product has free shipping. It stands out and definitely brings attention to the listing. Module 11. Final thoughts. Thank you so much for spending time with us today, and we hope you take your first steps on a very exciting journey. Let's iterate what we have learned today. Firstly, you need to pick your own great product, which you think will be a bestseller. Then you need to price it right for profit and package it for a lasting impression. Once you decide how you will ship it, you will need to create an amazing listing and a memorable brand for your business. After that, all the hard work will speak for itself. In the course project area, we will leave a few things for you. One is a document which you can use to create a list of all the relevant SEO tags for your product. Another one is a simple chart which shows you the key things you need to remember from this course when you decide to start your own business and be your own boss. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below, and we will do our best to support you.